Hi, hello. We're reading the latest chapter of Bakemonogatari, which begins with Araragi-kun in the throes of madness, in complete denial that he has in fact encountered a vampire. All he has left is the mental image of Hanekawa's panties to give him any grasp of sanity. I just read a bunch of chapters of Dr. Stone, which were absolutely crazy and mind-blowing, and just some of the most hype shonen chapters ever. And I feel the same energy emanating from this series, but the subject matter is just very slightly different. I was surely facing the end of my human life here. That way I could say that Hanekawa's panties were my savior. He prays. He prays to them. This is an amazing shot, by the way. I don't even know what's happening. Is this symbolic or is this actually Shinobu's attack? I don't remember her doing this. Again, it's been a while since I've watched Kizu or read Kizu, but my memory of it is that Shinobu begs him for help, he just leaves, and then for reasons that are hard to articulate, he decides to come back and help her. Whereas here, she actually like attacks. It's freaking crazy. There's no point in pummeling you here. This isn't. Ooh. Not enough blood. Judgment is. Yeah. Okay, so Araragi runs away. This is what I remember. Really good shots of his screaming face. This one extreme close-up of Shinobu's fangs. This is something that the anime did often too, is what I would call hyper fetishy close-ups of seeing just a single body part in total isolation, which is like beyond the level of like normal fan service, you know, like it's too close up to be proper fan service, and yet they still like revel in it. Voice actually not helping me. She was suddenly weak, that coldness and harshness from before. The arrogance and pride that only saw me as food before disappeared. Oh. See, this is it with the Monogatari series. People have issues with it. They say it's fan servicey. They say it's degenerate. They say it's fetishy. It is. It certainly is. But it's not for no reason. Okay, that's an overstatement. Sometimes it's for no reason. Sometimes it's actually like a plot point that in seeing this fan servicey vision of Shinobu, of perceiving how attractive she is, and Araragi being established as a pervert in his character, it's like there's motivations behind this stuff. And beyond even just the plot points, which you could be like, you know, it's kind of like Kojima being like, what was it, Quiet, the character in Metal Gear Solid 5, she breathes through her skin, so she can't wear any clothes. and then it's like, it's not fan service, it's part of the plot. It's like, come on. No disrespect to Kojima. I think Kojima is a genius, but I always thought that was like very, very silly. So it's not even so much that it's just like a plot point. It's that there's like an atmosphere to this series. There's like like the logic of this series on the most fundamental level operates through kind of a fetishiness. If not just a fetishiness of attractive people, of sexual characteristics and stuff, then a fetishiness of yokai and legend and rumor, and there's these weird like causality links between the legendary properties of different things, has like a fetishiness of it. It's the same kind of seeing something in weird isolation. Does this make any sense? Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Or are you just like, no, this series is dumb fan service series. Don't try so hard. But like, beautiful, I thought. I was charmed in a second. I couldn't take my eyes off her. I couldn't move my feet any further. And he thinks now. Her true fear, the hopelessness in her voice, finally comes through to him. I don't want to die. Don't want to die. Don't want to help me. No, 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 no. Sorry, someone help. Somebody help me, please. I'm begging you. I'm sorry. Huh. Why is this page not translated? Oh, it's just the same page, but it's untranslated. Why? Also, there's furigana in this series. That actually really surprises me. Why is there furigana in this series? This series isn't for kids. No, 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 no. Children should not read Monogatari. Stop. What? I don't know why they included this. I'm trying to figure out why. Is it because they wanted for us weebs out there to... But it's not like it's a difficult translation. Gomenasai. I'm sorry. Dareka. It's like someone. I can't really... Tasukate. Onegai. Help me, please. Onegai shimasu. Gomenasai. Please. Sorry. Easy. Thank you, furigana. I probably would have forgotten. Well, no, I think I can read this without furigana. I think I know how all these are pronounced. Do anything if you want. If you save me, I'm serious. No, sorry. So this is interesting. This is before she's told him how much blood she needs, which I think is like one of the most chilling, iconic moments of the whole series. So the fact that she's saying, I'll do anything if you want if you save me, she's still lying to him, really. Because she can't do anything he wants. Once he saves her, he's dead. At least that's what she's thinking at this point. That's not who you are, right? Probably. Someone who would beg and apologize to a person like me. You should not be the kind of creature who would allow yourself to do this. This is very interesting, especially since he just encountered Hanekawa, right? The whole thing with Hanekawa's panties. Look, fan service, this is what I'm trying to get at. Fan service not just at a plot point, but as like a philosophical aspect. That Araragi, in witnessing Hanekawa's panties, knowing that Hanekawa was this like idol of the school, sure, she turned out to be a little bit weird, but you can't deny the fact that she was at the top of all the mock exams and what have you. A certified super genius, celebrity of the world, or of the world of the school, person destined for greatness, all this stuff. That Araragi had this weird connection with her, that he saw her panties, right? There's a symbolic link here is what I'm trying to say, that there's a recurring sort of theme that in the same way that Araragi was very disturbed by things like Hanekawa knowing his name and there being this... Does my phone have a chip? I'm so sorry. I just noticed this because the light was hitting it. I'm so stupid. No, it's not a chip. It's something stuck to it. Okay, sorry. I just glanced over and I saw light glinting off my phone where there was like no reason for there to be like any sort of disjoint strangeness on the surface. And I was like, oh shoot, is there a chip on my phone? Anyways, back to my extremely important point about Hanekawa's panties is that like seeing Shinobu beg this image of the banner being burned is like a perfect representation of it. Araragi knows that something huge and important and beautiful and terrifying, something so far beyond what he is as a person, is begging him, is dining to him. It's a much more extreme version of just what had disturbed him with Hanekawa. This is good, right? I cannot let this beautiful vampire die in such a pathetic way. Like, how can I save her? She just wants to eat me as an emergency food supply. So basically, I'm gonna die. Okay, so he does actually understand that. Maybe they already had that conversation. I don't remember. Never donated blood yet. I'm letting her suck all the blood in my body. He runs away again. That makes sense. I forced my frozen legs to move. I dashed pretty far. I was trying to shake something off and trying to forget everything. I made a lot of noise. I shouted very loudly. It doesn't have to be me. Somebody will take my place. Crashes his bike, stumbles into the road. He's quite a long way away now. Another kind of iconic Monogatari setting. Just lonely highway in the countryside. Her voice was no longer audible for me. Only pain was left, as if it was trying to blame me. Oh, look at that. Just the scar. Well, not a scar yet. And I think, this is going to be a wound that after he's like, it's cured, what the heck? Haha, you're a vampire. But the iconography of this cut dripping blood. Hits some type of way. And this is another thing that I would talk about as an example of this hyper fetishiness. I'm not suggesting that it's common to be aroused by the sight of blood, but I know that is a fetish. And I'm not suggesting that here it's being presented as erotic or in service to that fetish, but it's being presented in the same fetishy manner as something like Shinobu, having an extreme close-up on Shinobu's face, on her mouth specifically. You know what I'm saying? That kind of isolation, that kind of like isolated zoom in. Here she is withering away. Oh, stop apologizing, moron! Why did things turn out like this? It's pretty obvious. There's no reason to force yourself to stay alive. It's not about beauty, but being pretty. It's my life. I love he's just thinking, shit, fuck. I love situations where the protagonist, or just really any character, but usually it's kind of a moment that's focalized to the protagonist, takes some sort of decisive leap, is kind of really doing it after, maybe some dilemma or whatever. And you think their actions are like resolved and dynamic, but then you also have access to their monologue, their interior monologue, and they're actually just like freaking out. That like, I'm trying to think of some other examples. Nothing's coming to mind right now. But it has like this kind of dual gravity, where you get both the dramatic and you get like the very psychologically intense. I should die to let this beautiful creature live. I'll save you. Suck my blood. I'll give you everything. Don't leave a drop. Take it all. Yeah, they must have already talked about how she needs every drop to survive. I forgot. Sure. Make sure my next life goes better. I will be reborn as a human being who can go with the flow, make good relationships, not feel guilty about every tiny thing, act pointlessly without worrying, do what I want without questioning myself, and blame all the things I hate on other people. This is a very questionable list of personality traits. He basically just wants to be a normie. But as a result of this, he evolves into something all the more wonderful. It's so convenient that I don't have many people to remember now. Oh man, this is so intense. It's really interesting too, because like, Kizu in its entirety is presented as a flashback. It's a flashback where you already know the outcome. First, that he does end up letting Shinobu suck his blood, right? Like, he tries to run away, but the reader knows he's going to let her do it. And we also know that he's going to survive. Araragi is acting like this is suicide, that he's throwing his life away. And it leads to this really beautiful, powerful moment. But at the same time, there's no tension. The reader knows that he survives. You mean, he goes through hell before he does fully, but it's so interesting, isn't it? There's a few times in this series that they do that kind of thing where you know the outcome, and yet it almost like frees you to experience the drama in a different way. Whoa, look at this shot. That framing. It's so like kind of goofy and yet like so perfectly iconic. The vampire framing. I love this. I love how this series, even though the vampire is not like a traditional vampire in so many ways, that especially in the manga has really impressed me with this, that they lean into the vampire tropes when they want to, or the other yokai tropes when they want to, Shinto tropes and Buddhist tropes and all of these kind of iconography images, they just kind of sprinkle them in there. There's something very Toho-y about it. I think Toho kind of fan works and stuff do a nice job of that balance as well. Thank you. Kiss shot, Aseo Laura, Orion Heart Underblade. Probably said thank you for the first time in her life there. And my consciousness disappeared in a flash. And with the final scoop of consciousness I had, he thought of Hanekawa. I remembered the only friend I made. What an amazing chapter. Holy. All right. Can't wait for more. Can't wait for more, because it feels like that's the end of the arc, right? That feels like such a beautiful moment. Just Aragi's dead. The Monogatari series is over before it started. But really, now we're just getting started with Kizu. Things get real crazy in the next few chapters. Okay, so let's look forward to that.